Today we're going to talk about Ohio State quarterback Dwayne Haskins. Many have him ranked as the number one quarterback prospect in the 2019 NFL Draft. Dwayne Haskins was recruited to Ohio State in 2016. However, he redshirted his first year, and in his sophomore year, redshirt freshman year, he got some playing time on the field. He didn't start any games. He never started any games. However, on September 23rd, he did come in for relief for J.T. Barrett at the end of the first half and had a pretty good day, 15 of 23, 228 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. That was the first time he had seen any actual playing time over a long period. For the rest of the year, he would just come in and spell and kind of be the cleanup quarterback in some games. And in 2018, he became a full-time starter for the Buckeyes. So he really only has the starts during the 2018 season, but he was there along for the ride in 2017 to be groomed as the starting quarterback. Haskins got his first start against Oregon State September 1st of 2018. In that start, he had 313 yards, 73.3% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Not a bad start to your career. And I think that's when people really started putting eyes on Dwayne Haskins as a legitimate quarterback to look at for this year's draft. Haskins checks in at 6'3", 220 pounds. This is not a small quarterback. This is not your athletic quarterback. This is a pocket passer. He moves well in the pocket, and he has a pretty good arm. So let's start the show here. Okay, so we need 13 yards here, and watch as Haskins checks it down he's 5 yards short, right? He needed to get to the 34. He's looking at the 29, and that's third down. Let's see, we got 39 here. This pass sells on him pretty bad, and you can see the pressure coming from the right side of the line here, and it just gets in his face and he just throws it away. But if he takes his time there, that play's open. Look at his deep ball here. He's got a nice arm. And let's look how he winds up here. This looks mechanically well done. He overthrows. You know, I always say I would much rather have my quarterback overthrow a receiver than underthrow him. Well, in most cases, you know, if it's a gotta have it, then you need to throw it up and give the receiver a chance, even if that puts the ball in harm's way. But if you're trying to get a big play down the middle early in the game, when the game's not on the line, then, you know, overthrowing the receiver is much better than underthrowing it. It's just ball protection. And I know Haskins, he tends to overthrow receivers quite a bit. I don't know if that's something that's built in where he's purposely trying to put it out there, and worst case scenario it's an incompletion, or if it's just something to do with, you know, the way he sees and the way he throws the ball. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. That's an NFL throw right there. That is a laser put perfectly on the money, right over the middle of the field in between a lot of traffic. That's a big-time throw. Big-time throw right there. That is accurate. Okay, let's look at this one. These comeback routes. This is something I want to point out here. These comeback routes right here is what Dwayne Haskins excels at, okay? I know that the Ohio State runs a lot of these, and I think it's a staple in their offense because it's what Haskins does well. He just does a great job. You're going to see this throughout the film session here, that Haskins is excellent at throwing those comeback routes. He's got good timing, good anticipation with those comeback routes. And there you go. I mean, he just underthrows this one. You got to lay that out there. Look at all this green out there. If you're going to overthrow a receiver on a 55-yard bomb, you can't underthrow this one, right? The corner's got good position. The only chance that receiver has of making anything happen with this is to throw it out there and more in the end zone. This thing should be landing 8 yards in the end zone, not at the goal line. All right, look at him thread this needle. Watch how many hands this ball goes through. This is a major league throw right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it actually gets tipped there by the corner. Still caught. That is a big time throw. A big time throw. This is what makes NFL scouts look at Dwayne Haskins and say, this guy, he's got something to work with. He throws these beautiful passes to receivers who are crossing over the middle. He can hit the comeback. Yeah, he struggles deep, and he struggles on fades. Those are things he needs to work on. Let's keep watching. Okay, so this is something that you don't want to do with Dwayne Haskins. As we pointed out before, Dwayne Haskins is not. He's not. He doesn't have the wheels to run the option, right? So these linebackers, they know it. They're not even biting on this. They're keeping an eye on him, but they're running with that ball carrier because they know that Haskins is going to flip this. They're not buying it. Even the linebacker that's closest to him knows that this ball is getting flipped. There's no way that Haskins is keeping this. It's just not something that you do with Dwayne Haskins. Yeah. Okay, so here's another thing I want to point out about Haskins. He doesn't throw accurately on the run, and you can see he drops back. He kind of slips here a little bit, but he's only going to throw like a 5-10 yard pass here, and he throws it way up in the air, making a very difficult catch here for his receiver. Look at that. He slips there, and then his receiver's 10 yards away from him, maybe 15. Watch this. Throws it way up there and leaves his receiver open to take a shot. That's a much easier throw than he made that be. And your receiver's gonna be a lot happier with you if you get that ball down a little bit, preferably low, if that defender's coming in. All right, so here's another one. I'm not exactly sure who Haskins was throwing this to because you have double crossing routes. I don't know if he was hitting the short or the deep guy. I just don't know who he was throwing this to. But either way, he was short or he was long, and I don't know. I don't know. Just the ball just either got away from him or he didn't get enough on it. And look at this. He underthrew this one a little bit. If he should throw this more towards the sideline of the receiver. And that one, he didn't lead the receiver far enough. So he doesn't lead his receiver far enough out there to make a play. Nevertheless, that receiver should have caught that ball. And that should have been picked. Yeah, I feel you, corner. You should have had a pick there. That's why you play defense. That's your ball. You should have picked that. That is a bad pass by Dwayne Haskins. And that's a guy who only has 1 year of starting experience making that throw. Okay, so let's take a look at this Purdue game. And this Purdue game, this was not something that any Ohio State Buckeye fan wants to remember. But we have to look at the good and the bad and everything and scout and look at the film honestly. And Dwayne Haskins, he has some good throws in this game, but there's a lot of bad here to look at. And look at that. Watch this. That ball is how far over that receiver's head? I mean, that receiver's looking up to the moon. He's looking up to the stars. That ball's so far away from him. Just check that out. Just overthrows him. And here's another one. He's not giving the receiver. He's got the advantage. Look at all that space between that receiver and the sideline, and he's not utilizing that space. Those comeback routes there, though, that's exactly what I'm talking about with him, is those comeback routes. And he didn't, I don't know if he just didn't see that linebacker, or I'm not exactly sure why he threw that ball. And maybe he just didn't get enough on it. Maybe he wanted to throw it over the linebacker, and the accuracy just wasn't there. But look at this pass. Now this is a big time NFL throw here. Watch him drop this ball right in a bucket. You can't throw it any better than that. You just can't throw it any better than this right here. Dropped it right in the bucket. And the corner routes are the hardest passes to throw and get on the same page with the receiver with. Corners are hard to hit. All right. And then he underthrows this one. Now, this flag bailed him out. But there's no way that he should have been bailed out. This is a terrible pass, and he didn't throw that short purposely to get this flag. That's just a bad throw. That ball got away from him. Typically, Dwayne Haskins will overthrow a receiver in that case. He underthrew him probably by 5 or 10 yards. Watch as the ball hits the defender in the back of the leg. There was so much space there. If he gets that ball out there 5, 10 yards further, it's a touchdown. Look at that. That is a beautiful pass. And it's a comeback route. Watch this. Zip. He just anticipates these comeback routes as well as anyone I've ever seen. Now that is beautiful. You can't put that in a better place. Look at this pass. Look at this pass right here. You can't put this in a better place. First of all, he's protecting his receiver by throwing it out a little bit, so the receiver has to work towards the sideline. There's no chance the corner has of making it. The safety's coming over. He's going to avoid getting his receiver just slaughtered by this safety by his ball placement. This is big time. This is an NFL throw. So look, he moves that receiver. He forces him to the sideline and helps him avoid taking the big shot. And the receiver's got to catch that one. Threw it out of bounds, but the receiver's got to catch that. And that is a bad pass there. Wow, that should have been picked. Again, you get the good and you get the bad with Dwayne Haskins. He's a young player. He hasn't started very many games, and this is what you get. You're going to get one play that just wows you, and the next play is like, what is he thinking? Just like any other young quarterback. Terrible pass. Terrible. Another one. Another one that should have been picked right there. And again, he throws the ball. I don't know who he was throwing it to, but that ball is well over his receiver's head. And you got some more miscommunication here. I don't know if that's on the receiver or who, but someone's not on the same page here. Now again, he comes back with the pass that wows you. And then he comes back with a pass, or a ball that he drops, picks up, gets a first down. And he overthrows him by 5 yards. He's got to get a little bit more air underneath some of this. I think that might be part of the problem. He's not getting enough air underneath it. He's trying to put a little bit too much on it. It's too much of a dart. He's got an arm. He's got a strong arm. Again, out of the pocket, he throws high. That's a good route, and that was 4th and 5, and that's a big-time pass. Team has to have it right there. He's got one-on-one. All right. Woo. Can't throw that ball. That's ugly. This is a young quarterback. Okay, so we're going to go to the next game here. This is the final game we're going to look at. This is TCU. This is one of the early games at the beginning of the year. And it's one of Haskins' better games, too. He played pretty well in this. Let's take a look at it. Look at that shot. One thing I'm going to point out here is, you're going to see it on this play. his Ohio State receivers, they drop a lot of passes. And I don't know if it's because Dwayne Haskins throws a hard ball to catch or not, but these guys, they drop a lot of passes. Their receivers do. Now, they throw a lot to their backs, and their backs get a bunch of catches, and they run a lot of wheel routes and screens and all kinds of things to their backs. But their receivers, they did not do Dwayne Haskins any favor. And if you look at his overall percentage, completion percentage at 70%, and you see as many drops as I've seen by looking at this film, just these 3 games, it's amazing that Haskins was able to complete 70% of his passes. Look at this. How do you drop that? It's right in your hands. Again, that's a big-time pass. He put it right there in his hands. In the NFL, this ball's probably caught. You're going to have a little bit, your tight end's going to be a little bit more athletic, and he's probably going to be able to go up and get that right over the defender's hands. These comeback routes are just unbelievable. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this anticipation here. Just right in between 3 players, 3 defenders, with the 4th one coming in late. Just puts it right on the money. This anticipation that Dwayne Haskins has on these comeback routes is just impressive. He can't throw a fade. He can't throw a fade worth of crap. I mean, I don't even know why you throw that ball like that. You give your receiver no chance. And that center was having all kinds of problems in this game, struggling to get the snaps back there. Underthrew it into double coverage. That's picked in the NFL. That's picked every time in the NFL. Yeah, Michael Jordan on those snaps just continues to give him low snaps. And this is a wide receiver screen. Quarterbacks love it. It makes their stats look good, but it's basically just a 5-yard pass. It's well blocked. Then you come back with this beautiful throw, back shoulder throw, just beautiful. That's the good that you see with Dwayne Haskins. That's what makes you really want to really like this guy. And look at that. Just a laser over the middle of the field. You really just can't throw that ball any better. You just can't put it in a better spot. You give your receiver a chance to make something after the catch. The defenders have no chance of getting to it. It's just an excellent throw. Now, when I first saw this, I said, oh no, this is not the call that you're wanting to make with Dwayne Haskins. So there you have it. Dwayne Haskins, who is very, very young, only has 14 starts. He's a redshirt sophomore. And you're going to get a lot of bad, and you're going to get some flash plays, but you're going to get a lot of bad early on. There's some things he needs to clean up. He does very good with the comeback routes, especially over the middle of the field, towards the sidelines. He hits those comeback routes very, very well. He doesn't throw a good deep ball just yet. It's going to take some time to refine that. He doesn't throw a good fade. He doesn't have wheels. He can move around in the pocket well, but he's not going to get you the yards on the ground. And he throws the intermediate passes, the crossing routes over the middle very well. There's some tools there to work with. He's got the size, and you got something to work with. And there you have it. There's Dwayne Haskins, and he's highly coveted in this draft. That's basically quarterback starving. There's just not a lot of quarterbacks in this draft that's going to help him. He's probably going to be one of the first, if not the first, quarterback off the board. And it's unknown how high you can go. It's early in the draft process. And we'll just have to follow him and see what happens.